Yes, good morning and welcome everyone to the interactive session Practical Digital Twin Cases in the Netherlands. My name is Magdalena Groes from the Dutch Kadaster and from the GIN, Geoinformatie Nederland Association. And together with my colleagues Xante Douwenbode and Jeroen Grieft, who will lead the session. I'm pleased to introduce our presenters, who will take you in the world of digital twins, from scratch to beautiful examples and interesting use case from the Netherlands. I hope you really like it. And we will start today with Henk Pauw from FactoGeo. And Henk will talk about importance of the correct quality data, and also the importance of the combination of the data for the digital twin. Then we will go to Tony Babing from Kadaster. Tony will introduce fundaments for the digital twins. Then Niels van der Graaf from Imagem will present 2 demos for using of the digital twin informations. And Jane Verstappen will talk about nice use case where digital twin helps future developers and residents design their living environment. Really interesting. It will be interactive, so it will be also polls, and it will be also time for questions and reaction of our speakers. And we wish you a wonderful and inspiring session. But before we start, I will give a floor to Xante. Xante explain technical parts of the session, so please enjoy.
Yes, thank you, Magdalena. Well, I have one slide that goes about the interactive part of the presentation. Magdalena, yeah, great. Well, there are actually 3 choices in the stage that we are at now, but you can see 4 because when you're at the reception or another part of the conference, you can also see people. But to start with the chat, also during our session, you can chat with each other. And also, of course, if you really like something, you can cheer about the demo and share that in the chat. But for questions and that you would like to ask and be able to discuss them, you can put those in the Q&A part of this session. If you can go to the next slide, Magdalena, I can show everyone where this interactive part is, and click again, because there are 3. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, exactly, right there where you see the arrow and the green circle. That is the interactive part of the conference. And we will also use polls in this session, during this session. After each demo or presentation, we will share a question or maybe, how do you call it? A statement. That's what I wanted to say. A statement about what you've just heard, and we would like you to join that poll so we can have a discussion about your answers and your thoughts about that. And when something has happened in the chat or the poll or the Q&A, you can see a red dot, and that's where the small arrow is pointed at, so that you know, oh, there's something that I can read, something new or something for me to do. So that's actually everything that I wanted to share about the interactive part, Magdalena.
Great, Xante, thank you very much. So, yeah, we'll not wait anymore. And Henk, the floor is yours. I think you have to unmute. You are muted. We are waiting for Henk. Henk, Your microphone is out.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
Yes, I'm looking for the presentation. I thought it was.
In the front stage, I see a chat room.
In my room at home, while Rembrandt is watching, I will tell you something about the project Zaanstad. But first I will thank Magdalena Kroes and Santa Duivenbode for the organization of the Dutch Digital Twin presentations. Also, I will thank Van Steeland and GeoNext for the cooperation. Both partners of FactorGeo played a major role in successfully executing this innovation project. My name is Henk Pauw and I work at FactorGeo. Zaanstad from above, the importance of correct quality data, input for the digital twin and more. I will briefly discuss in 12 minutes the following topics: FactorGeo, innovation project Zaanstad from above, customer demands, different approach of data capturing and processing, the results, and the pros and cons of this innovation for the municipality Zaanstad. FactorGeo is a nationally operating geodetic engineering firm which supports clients from different office locations with the delivery of tailor-made survey solutions and assists in performing various legal duties. We collect, process, take out, analyze, report, deliver, and visualize spatial data to valuable information. FactorGeo is active in 4 market sectors: construction, government, industry, and real estate. We are professionals in more than just surveying. Project Zaanstad. The municipality of Zaanstad is situated closely to Amsterdam. The south part of the municipality has been captured with a city mapper from an altitude of 400 meters. The total size of the project is approximately 10 kilometers squared. The result is a high-quality dataset of LiDAR and digital photographs. With the use of smart tooling, the data has been translated into a digital twin for various useful products like a 3D vector model of the buildings and a 3D mesh. Customer demands. The hamvraag, which information needs can be answered with combined high-quality photo and LiDAR data. First, I will show you the film of our partner from Steeland. In the film, you have seen data capturing from above and processing different kinds of information products. Without correct quality data in your digital twin, you can't make good decisions. The airborne LiDAR point cloud consists of approximately 60 points per meter squared. In comparison, the current nationwide elevation model, the point density and quality is 2 or 3 times higher. Each point has not only a three-dimensional position, but also attribute information. Dependent on flight altitude, flight speed, camera, fit adjustment, fit points, the absolute positional accuracy of the point cloud is 2.5 centimeter XY and 3 centimeter Z. This has been checked on terrestrial surveyed sewage pits. Software enables the user to extract information from the data, cross-section, volume determination, distances, high measurements, and conversion of selected points into point clouds. LiDAR is based on laser lights and uses with vegetation, for example, various echoes, which can be used for classifications. The point clouds has been classified with customized algorithms and tools. Klasse, for example, ground level, all the roads. Klasse point ups to 0.5 meter above ground level. Points between 0.5 and 2 meters. Points higher than 2 meters. The roofs and the walls. For example, here the points with classification 6. Comparing the point clouds with the current nationwide elevation model enables the user to detect fully automatic changes in the datasets. An interesting example is a new detected roof along the canal. Besides a market, it's visible during the data collection in 2020. Here you can see it, the points of the city mapper in comparing the points of the AHA and the nationwide elevation model. Based on the high quality and dense point clouds, customized algorithms has created a 3D model. All visible topographic elements have been modeled, buildings, including extensions and dormers. But also trees with tree trunk location, ground size, eye, and type. For example, the needles and the leaf trees. The true orthomosaic generated from the highly accurate data of the city mapper can be used as a reference and to map the missing and modified geometry of objects for the National Register's Large-Scale Topography, the BGT, and Addresses and Buildings, the BAG.
We have
Ja, hij zit helemaal vast. Ja.
problems.
It's not working anymore. I made a presentation yesterday evening, but Delen stoppen. Okay, maybe I can go further now. I press on the button Delen stoppen, but I will try it again.
We keep cool.
We keep cool. It's raining in Holland, so a lot of water is falling here in Utrecht. I will press the escape. Maybe I will start again. Maybe that's the best.
Maybe you can pick up the last part live.
Yeah, I will try start again. Maybe it's working now. Share screen. Eens even kijken hier. Okay, I will try it again.
The true orthomosaic generated from the highly accurate data of the city mapper can be used as a reference and to map the missing and modified geometry of objects for the National Register's Large-Scale Topography, the BGT, and Addresses and Buildings, the BAG. Simultaneously to the data capturing of LiDAR and nadir photographs, the city mapper also produces high-quality oblique photos. The quality, sharpness and high density is unbelievable spectacular. All relevant topographic objects for the national registers, and for example solar panels, are visible. Even pavement tiles are distinguished and the datasets can be used for the object verification. You see here also some boats in the Dutch gardens. A 3D mesh model has been generated with LiDAR and photo data. With open source software Terra Explorer, this model can be visualized and various functionalities enables 3D analysis. And here you see, of course, a movie film of Zaanstad. The municipality of Zaanstad uses the 3D mesh to visualize their plan designs. For example, the BIM data of the project Houthavenkade fitted in the 3D mesh. The municipality of Zaanstad uses the 3D mesh also for shadow analysis and to carry out shadow calculations in Terra Explorer. Besides, there are functionalities in Terra Explorer to visualize 3D lines of sites to investigate road safety, to measure, to link nodes to objects, to import various map layers, and to navigate. At the moment, the 3D mesh data, LiDAR and photo data will be imported in the Luciad platform of Imagem. In one of the next presentations, Niels van der Graaf will tell you more what added value the Luciad platform has for your digital twin instead of free software like Terra Explorer. The pros and cons of this innovation for the municipality Zaanstad. High quality area covering data with a very high level of detail. Collect once, multiple use, integral packets of information for various products to support different departments at the same time. Data is suitable for object registration in conjunction. Shorter lead time and faster data collection due to longer time span. Data capturing LiDAR also during the evening and with leaves on the tree. short turnaround from data collection to deliverables. In this project, 4 weeks. Open source software is available to visualize a digital twin and to execute 3D analysis. And at last, the municipality is owner of the data. This is the last slide of the presentation. I have a question for you. You have seen it, the municipality Zaanstad is owner of the data of the digital twin. And my question to you is, who is the owner of all data of your city in your digital twin? And you can choose one of these answers. Okay, thank you for attending, and I pass the baton to Sante and Magdalena. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Henk, for the presentation. I will now give everyone the opportunity to react to the poll. If you can go to the poll tab, you can, find a statement and react according to your opinion or thoughts. And if you have a question, you can drop it in the Q&A tab, like I just told. I don't see in the chat, I see enough activity, everybody saying hi, but in the poll and the Q&A, I don't see anything happening yet. So I'm just taking one moment, hopefully that everybody can find it. And if someone has some difficulty with it, you can maybe share it in the. Now I see a Q&A. That's great. The question is, what was the resolution of the imagery? Henk.
Sorry, Sante.
One moment, I will copy past it. The question is, what was the resolution of the imagery? So the
resolution, 2.5 centimeters XY, and in the Z 3 centimeters. This is very high. The distance of the altitude was 400 meters, and it's very low for a city mapper. So it's the most, it's very low.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I still unfortunately do not see any response to the polls yet, but maybe Henk and Magdalena, can you tell something about the poll that you have designed here? The owner of the public data in the city is municipality. Everyone who collect data. Can you tell us a smart piece about what you were thinking with that, so we can close the poll?
Yeah, thank you, Sante, because it's a difficult question, of course. I think there is no good or wrong answer. It's dependent of the contract you've made with the companies who capture the data for you. And of course, in the Netherlands, there's a lot of data, a lot of open data. For example, the large-scale topography BGT, this is open and free. But for the digital twin, it's very important that you have recent data, and that's why it's a different approach of data capturing. I've seen for Zaanstad, but for digital twin, it's very important, of course, the BGT, the BHE, etc.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think something is going wrong at my end of the line, because I see that 22 people have already voted yet. Thank you, Jaap, for sharing that in the chat. Thank you for sharing the votes, but also looking at the time, Henk has already given the explanation, so I would like to continue with Tony presenting his part.
Tony, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sante and Magdalena, for hosting this session. I will now share my screen. Fenster. Yes, I think everybody could see it now. So good morning, everybody. Nice to meet you all online. Hopefully next time we will see each other in real life. It's much better than online, I think. My name is Tony Baving, and I'm a geodata specialist at Cadastre. Today I will present the fundamentals for digital twin. But first I will tell something about a 3D of the Netherlands that was created with topographical data. After that I will show a result of a high five. It's an innovation method we did with RIVM. RIVM is also known as the National Institute for Public Health and the Environment. So I will go to my next slide. Where's my mouse? Oh, here it is. So last year, the Cadastre created a national data set that's available via the website PDOK, Public Dienstverlening on the CAD, on the 13th of July. This is a watertight 3D model of the whole Netherlands. It was created with point cloud. They were abstracted with dense matching. Now, Henk Paul also showed some examples of dense matching. We created our out of area photographical, and with also the topographical data BGG and the Bach. And yeah, this 3D model will be updated every year. We go to the next slide. So the 3D of the Netherlands is available in 3 products. The first one is the complete watertight dataset with buildings, terrain, roads, and water in CityJSON format. This could be a good fundament for a digital twin. The second dataset is a dataset with only the buildings of the Netherlands. It's in LOD 1.3, and for some places where we can't create 1.3 models, we created 1.2 models. So it's also in the CityJSON, and the last one is a 2D dataset with the height information stored as attributes. There are some kind of fields. There's a maximum height, minimum height. It's also the main height of the building. But this dataset is not in CityJSON, but it's in GeoPackage. It's also an open standard format. Yes, please check the information on the website. On this link, you can find here a QR code. If you scan this QR code, you're going to this website and you can download a CityJSON file or a GeoPackage with the projects. It's tiled, so we have areas. The size of the areas are 6 by 5 kilometers, and then you can download it and you open it in QGIS, or you can open in FME Workbench. FME has also has a writer and a reader for the CityJSON data, so this will no problem. So now I will tell something about the results of our high five with RIVM and Esri. Esri also joined us within this high five. Yes, a high five is an innovation method. We are using it at Cadastre. There are 5 steps and 5 weeks. The first week is the kickoff with the stakeholders and the team who will make the prototype. The second week is preparing week, and this week we take care for data and we try to fix the IT infrastructure. The third week is the most important, of course. It's the focus week, and this week we will create a prototype with our expert team. All the agendas of the experts are empty, and we are only focusing on create a prototype of the model. The week after the focus week is wrapping up things. So when there are some loose ends, we can put them together, and then we have a good end presentation for the last week. So the last week, there's the final presentations with the stakeholders, and that's one of the things we are innovating at Cadastre. So I will now give a live demo. So I will stop this screen, and then I will share my other screen. Share it. Yes, thank you. So I will now give a live demo of the results of this week. We used ArcGIS Urban. It's a city planning tool to create 3D models in a 3D viewer. And the place where we did this high five is called in Dutch the Spoorzone. In English, we call it the railway zone. It's in the municipality of Zwolle. So we use ArcGIS Urban and our 3D model. You can see all the buildings and some terrain height in the area. Yes, our goal for this high five was to tackle the heat stress in this area. Right, as you can see, there is a lot of heat stress in this area, and yeah, some things orange and yellow. There are the most areas. There are a lot of heat, and the heat won't go away within a couple of days. Yes, the one of the benefits of the urban tooling is you can create scenarios. And we have created a couple of scenarios, and I will show you them now. So the first scenario is placing extra trees. So we went to the Spoorzone area with a collector app of ArcGIS, where we can place trees within the heat stress area. So I will zoom more in. You can see here there are placed some trees. We created these trees with the ArcGIS collector app, and here there also put some trees in it. And by putting these trees, we have some input for RIVM. They can use this data to analyze with a Groene Batenplanner. When we translate it, it's called like the Green Benefit Planner. And it's a decision-making tool for spatial planning. The tool calculates the effect of spatial planning on natural capital. This helps policymakers to make choices in urban development, in development. So the first is creating new trees in the area, grass and shrubs. This locally provides a maximum average cooling of 0.3 degrees. It sounds a little bit low, but we are very happy that, okay, there's something we could do with trees, how to cool the area. This analysis is done by 10 square meters. You can see here the grid, and I will zoom more up. You see here a grid by 10 by 10, and some grids are more bluer and higher. That means that some places there are higher cooling when we place some from trees. So this is one scenario. When we go to the next scenario, another scenario is the installation of green roofs, greening roofs. We analyze which roofs are suitable for green roofs. So we looked which buildings are flat and don't have any installations like air conditionings on it. These buildings are again the input for the Groene Batenplanner. And we calculate around 70% of the building in this area are suitable for green roofs. So that's the second scenario. And when we go to the first scenario, it's a combination of the first and the second scenario. So we have placed trees and created green roofs. And that's much better because there are some places we can't place trees because the roads are too small or other things there are we cannot place the trees. Then we can green up the roof. So the coverage of the whole cooling section will be bigger. And then we have the combination of scenario 3. And then we look, okay, what will be done in 10 years? So the other things is it's a maximum cooling of 0.3. And when we get a scenario with the green roofs and the build of the trees in the area, then we have a maximum cooling of 0.3. And when we look over 10 years, okay, the roofs are getting more bigger, the greener, and the trees are getting bigger, then we have a maximum cooling of 0.35 in the area. So with the combination of 3D data and other data, we visualized a 3D digital twin with the results how to cool the area. So 3D as fundament of digital twin, question mark. And thank you for listening. And any question, please ask them now. And I have also have a poll for this, and then I will go to my another screen back to share it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tony. I again seen that the poll has been posted, but I would like to ask Jaap if people have reacted already, because nothing is happening on my screen. So I think there's something going wrong on my end. Maybe if people have reacted to the poll already, can somebody drop the result again so that we can also see it? Yes, exactly. Thank you, Tony, for sharing your screen. At the poll tab, you can all see the statement from Tony: 3D is a good fundament for digital twin. Do you agree or do you disagree? Now I'm just waiting a moment. You can also post your questions for Tony at the Q&A tab again. And then we can have a moment to discuss some of those questions that you might have for Tony.
Yes, and if there are questions that pops up after the session, you can also mail me by this, contacting me by this email address.
Yes, exactly. And I also told it in the chat already, but I will say it out loud now. After this session, we also have an Ask Me Anything session. So if you really like to have a discussion with one of the presenters or ask more questions, you can do it there. We have time enough to discuss it over there. Well, for now, I see the poll. Someone has shared the results with me that 100% agrees. So that's not really a controversial answer, I guess, Tony. And I see a few questions at the Q&A spot. Are you also at the front end, Tony? Because I heard you. Clicking.
Oh, clicking. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm not at the front stage. No, I'm at the backstage.
Okay, great. Then I will share the questions. One question is that have you incorporated 4D time into your digital twin?
Can you post copy it in the chat session, because I can't hear it.
Yeah.
Very good.
I will. Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Here you go.
I think for this we didn't have any time incorporated, 4D time in the digital twin, but it's also possible, of course, to having the time. And another thing is that when you have it in urban, IGS Urban, you have it like a time slider. You can see, okay, where the sun comes up and where it goes down. So that's one of the, I think, yeah, maybe you can call that a 3D thing in your visualization.
Okay, and then there's another question about the cadastre. Someone is wondering if it's just a name and or organization. But yes, we are doing the land registration in the Netherlands. Zen Yung Un, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And then the last question for you, Tony, or at the Q&A, I'm dropping it now. For digital twin, you need also a BIM model from the birth of the buildings. It's more maybe a statement than a question, but maybe you would like to respond to that to conclude your part of the session.
Yes, I think there are more ways to how there are more digital twin. It's really depends on what is your question. What do you want to answer with your digital twin? For sometimes it's enough to have LOD 1.2 model. And the other things, it's very important to have also a BIM model. It's when how a building is created in the past, or how it looked like in the nowadays. So I think it's really depends on what's the question and how we want to answer the question. So it's really okay how you want to visualize. It's okay with the blocks, or when do you want to have a good BIM model when you can also look inside, outside, and see what's there.
Okay, thank you. Well, to respond to the last question, I think considering the time, we will need to take it to the end of the session to see if we still have time to answer some of the questions. But to answer one short question, yes, we are also doing 3D cadastral mapping. Then I would like to give the stage to you, Niels.
Thank you very much. I shall share my screen. Just a moment, please. I think that I have shared my screen now. And what I would love to start off with is that when there already were examples of the right 3D data, usage of 3D data, which is of course very important. You've seen an example for heat stress analysis. And what I would like to do is also give you some examples of usage of digital twins. And you can, of course, have very cool 3D pictures and 3D environments, but we think it's more important to have the right applications within the digital twin, because that has the added value for the decision making. And we feel that when using digital twins, you have much more insight and much more context about the environment. And here we see an example of the water permeability, where lots of people have no more gardens. Everything they put in stones and less flowers, less grass, and has got more water stress on roads because the water will not go into the ground. And here we have a viewer in 3D where the municipality can look at an urban and see on colors in their garden if a garden has lots of water permeability or less water permeability. And then you can see which is gardens that are green can let water through, and gardens that are red are all brick, and it's impossible for water to go into the ground. And in this way, people understand more about the environment instead of using 2D maps. And the professional understand the 2D maps, but decision makers or civilians have much more trouble with map reading. And when you provide it in a digital twin, they understand it faster. And of course, you can use the analytics when you are just interested in the gardens that have less water permeability. So you are able to just select the red gardens, and you can see it in your screen popping up all the environments with red gardens, and you can make your policy on it. Another example I would like to show for added value in 3D digital twins is using 3D sound or noise mapping, where we are used to having 2D contours. We are now able to do a 3D analysis of the noise propagation and see it on the various heights of a building. And you can click on these heights and see what a decibel value is at this between 6 and 7 meter height, but also when it is lower, from 2 to 3 meter heights, it's 40 dB. And in this way, you can easily see what the noise propagation is on a building. And that makes it much easier for a municipality to see where the larger problems are on the various heights of a building, and not just having a noise number on the facade, but now seeing it at different heights. What is also nice to do is that you can have analytics in regards to just showing me all the heights where there is a lot of noise against, and then you can see what is left with all the heights in regards to the noise. And then you can export these numbers and see what addresses needs attention because the noise is too high. Then I would like to show you what you can do in digital twins in regards to legislation and policies, where you can now easily drag and drop cut files or just projects into a 3D environment, place it anywhere you would like, and create a scenario of a situation. And you can see large files, small files, the 3D environment which is there just disappears. Where I put down my buildings, let me just put this somewhere, give it the right position. And once I've created my building or my situation, I can just have a look at it and see how that looks in regards to the environment. I can also, when I want to see some details, I can also look into the details. This is just a BIM building which is converted into a file so that we can use it via streaming technology to look at it. And you can see the details, even a set of knives on the kitchen counter. But the whole reason we wanted to do this was also to do a quick check for legislation, where I can automatically get the address of that position, which is being gotten now. I can tell if it is an office or a place where I'm going to live at. Now this automatic check will provide me with some forms which I can fill out. If I knew the size of the building parcel, then it wouldn't have asked me this question, but now I can fill it in. Do I want to work from home? No, I don't want to work from home. I send it in. Now it's asking me an additional question, how much garden I will pave. Also again for the water permeability. So I just put in there a number, and now it's done already a quick check. And it says to me that because I don't have any commercial working situation from home, so that is agreed conform the article 12.2 of this planning situation in this area. In regards to the building height, it is not approved because according to an article, my height of my house is too high because the max height of that area is at 9 meters. I can also do some additional checking as a civilian. Okay, why is it not approved? What have I done wrong, or what is wrong? And it's getting all these numbers out of this BIM file for automatic checkups. And the same goes for the water permeability. I have too much pavement in my parcel, and it's not allowed to conform the legislation that is there. And this is a digital twin check where we see that there is a lot of added value for decision making and easy processes, because a lot of things can be done automatically, so that the knowledge worker can only look at the more complex stuff, but that the most of the stuff will be done automatically. And when you have done that in this case, you can also do that for event planning, where you can have an area. In this case, there's a concert we want to plan, and I can drag and drop some stuff in the digital twin, so that a municipality or the police or all other stakeholders within this event all have the same information and where you have the freedom to drag and drop certain kinds of objects in an area, and then check if that is allowed, if it is possible, measure all the events, objects. Here I can plant a restaurant, and just to show you, hold on just a second, let me just turn this good around to this, yeah. And what I wanted to show you is when I go, you can see that it is still a little bit above ground, and that's because there is a staircase here down below. And let me just, to go into a cellar, let me just put it up to ground now. And you can see the details of these objects are quite high. Let me just go into the restaurant. So everybody, all the stakeholders, police and firemen, the permit department of a municipality can all do these checks and see if it is allowed. I can go onto ground level and just have a look at what the other people see at this concert, and I can just have a look around at ground level and see what you are able to see at this level. And when you've done and finished your whole setup of your event, I can also, let me just get a good view here. When you also want to let people know what kind of audio, what kind of concert that are playing there, I can also play a sound file. I don't know if you can hear it on the other side of the streaming, but you can choose different kinds of music where you can also let the municipality know what kind of music has been playing. And when you have the right technology, where you have the flexibility of creating different kind of views in a digital twin, I can also here request my permit, where I can do the same kind of checkups like I've shown you in the previous example. And these are just small examples of digital twin usage where there's added value for shared decision making and also for automated processes because of connecting this digital twin to digital legislation or digital knowledge processes. And these were the examples I liked to share with you.
Okay, thank you for this flawless and inspiring demo, Niels. Being flawless in a demo is already inspiring, so great job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Then I will just have a look at the Q&A and the poll tab again. Yes, the poll has been shared. That belongs to the part of Niels' demo. It says, I see more advantages than disadvantages to use digital twin. And I'm afraid that I'm not seeing the results again. So I'm asking the public, well, if you see that enough people have reacted to the poll, to please share it in the chat so we can also discuss that with Niels. For now, I see a question appearing, 2 questions. Where, one moment, because I will also share it with you, Niels. Here you go. For the legislative application and several cases shown, timely BIM is required. Is this correct?
I do not understand the question in regard to timely BIM. The examples that we show, which we are developing together with some municipalities, is in regard when there is a BIM file or a file from an architect or a project company, then the BIM file is as is, and it's just for easy and quick usage to drag and drop it into a 3D environment. I hope that answers your question. I don't know in what regard I should think about a timely BIM.
Great. And then I also saw the question, what is the 3D online platform that you are using for visualizing?
Thank you very much for that question. Of course, I would love to share that. That is our Luciad technology, which is provided by Hexagon Geospatial.
Great. Well, that was an easy one for you. What is the degree of the level of detail? What's the level?
That is of course a very good question, especially in regards to the BIM data. What we have done is that there are some building files that we can show as LOD 300 even, and even 500, but that takes a lot of bandwidth and a lot of download power when used in the streaming technology. In the cases I've shown you, we have converted the BIM files to LOD 3.0.
Okay, well, great. And then I see one other question, but I don't think that it's exactly related to what you told. Do you need to pay for the land status from Cadastre? But I will just drop it for now. And looking at the time, or maybe Magdalena, you can respond to that question for now. Do you need to pay for the land status from Cadastre? In the meantime,
I will try.
Can somebody in the meantime drop the poll results for now?
Okay, maybe shortly I will answer the question. There are some information that people have to pay for and some don't. They don't. And for example, the information about the owners, there are payable information. But for example, where is the border of the land? It's available. It's available in the product BRK K from the Cadastre. And yes, and we have also results from the polls, Xanta.
Yes, I see now. I dropped it. So Niels, everybody agrees. 100% has agreed with.
That's good.
Yes, that's good.
All believers.
Great. Well, then I guess it's time, Janne, for you to take the floor.
Yes. I will start sharing my screen. It's very, thanks by the way for having me. I'm Janne, I'm a business consultant for Geodon. It's very nice to have such a positive audience with regards to digital twin technology. Perhaps I can put in some more critical questions. Before I start, I think what will be interesting, I'm going to show you a use case that is also actually related a little bit to legislation. More from a citizen perspective. Perhaps you can respond in the comments whether in the country or company or organization that you're in, this is also a relevant topic. I'm actually quite interested. In the Netherlands, it is because we have new legislation coming up that actually requires a whole lot of digital input, but perhaps that's actually a different situation in different contexts. So I'd be happy to hear from you. The case I will tell you a little bit about is a new build district that is actually in development in the region of Eindhoven. It is called Brainport Smart District, and the purpose, the district itself was actually founded, the idea was founded by Eindhoven University of Technology with the idea of incorporating all of the innovative technologies that are currently developed in a lab in an urban context. So actually the district itself is very much a living lab for new technology. When I say technology, you can think about, for example, energy, storage, circular building, but also actually digital innovation. And one of the core goals of the project is to really have citizens participate in creating their own neighborhood. So this is also where Geodon comes in. We're actually involved in the project as a geodata expert, but the project itself was actually developed to develop a use case that is more for citizens than for government. So this is a little bit background in the project. Eventually, there will be about 1,500 homes that will be built here, and that will serve as a living lab for these innovations. The idea is not to harm, pollute, or exhaust the planet, and to actually use technology to add meaning to the life of people who live in the district and use the services. So in order to accomplish these quite ambitious social objectives, digital innovation is actually quite important. Together with a number of partners that you see here on the right, we developed a digital twin for residents. It is an innovation project, so it's still very much a beta project that I will show you. And the idea is that we develop a digital twin that help future residents co-design their neighborhood together with developers and other partners. The project was actually sponsored by a national program that has an aim of improving digital services for citizens. So that is a little bit the context. So what we did is actually also very much based on what is actually considered the future of legislation, at least in the Netherlands, where you combine a lot of digital information, such as BIM models, together with geographical information and digitalized legislation, and that you create an interactive environment in which you can, as a citizen, actually access all of that data. We all are already implementing some of that in our current products, but what I'm showing you right now is more of a demo of what we see as the future. So it's not actually implemented in this way yet, but why I think it's interesting is it is more of a research project, and it can show you a little bit more the direction that we think this is going. And as I already announced before, everyone here is very positive about digital twins, and we've seen a lot of uses from the perspective maybe of a government or someone who is planning a district. Perhaps it'd be interesting to have a look at, would this be interesting for someone who's going to live here, and would they use a tool like this? So that's also what my poll question is about. I will show you a short demo and actually talk you through it a little bit. So I recorded my screen. Sound is off. Yeah, that works. So this is what you currently see when you're on the homepage. We simply visualized, also not in a very high detail, the neighborhood and the urban vision. And we put in some BIM models of the future housing plans. What we want to do is combine as much open data about the neighborhood as possible. So here you see the destination plan, the roads, mobility information and such. This is all based on data that is currently available. So for example, here you see all the amenities in the neighborhood, the sound data that you've seen before. That is all in an environment that you can just easily add to. So we actually try to encourage also the municipality to share as much as possible. And you actually see that is already posing quite a bit of a challenge. Here you see the customer journey. So this is finding a home that suits you. The environment that you see here is actually the direct BIM model. So I'm editing a BIM model here. This is an application of one of our partners, WoonConnect, and they really add in detail all the BIM information and make calculations such as your electricity use. What we did here is a check on, does your home actually, does it meet all the requirements in terms of energy and in terms of the neighborhood's goals, because they're quite ambitious. What you see here is a little bit more of the customer interface. And once you actually edited your design in your project, of course, you can put it back into the digital twin. So here you see a little bit what the customer journey does, what it looks like. Obviously, this is still a little bit of an experiment because we don't actually have a customer environment where you can do all those things. What we did manage to do is actually integrate all of the data that you saw. So the geographical data, the BIM data, and some of the first legislative data. What we aimed at with this project, that was a success. So it was an innovation project and we tested all of these things and they work. Obviously, if you want to create a full-scale customer experience from this that is actually relevant for citizens, you need to do a whole lot more. but we actually did have a few interesting lessons learned that I would like to share. Oh, I'm just going to click through. What we very much learned is that there are still a lot of steps to take to really enable what we set out to do, which is real-time permit checks. It is possible, obviously, to combine the GIS and the BIM data and check it directly against regulations, but it requires a little bit of change of mindset. So for the person in charge at the local government, it means that you need to think beforehand about what is actually that you're trying to achieve. Is it a static rule or a static goal, or is it maybe a little bit more dynamic? To give you an example, there might be a regulation that indicates how high a building can be in terms of projecting shadow on other buildings, etc. Then often you see that there is one rule that applies to all of the buildings in a district, whereas using this kind of data, you can actually make it way more interactive and way more realistic and more applicable to the situation itself. So if you start thinking a little bit differently, then that means you also need to write down the rules differently. So less as a static norm and maybe more as something that is actually data driven. So all in all, you can use data to help with that debate. For instance, looking at energy, maybe one building can generate more than the other. You can be a little bit more flexible and actually be more ambitious in the social objectives that you have chosen as a local government. And this project was actually meant to provide a first glimpse into the possibilities of working directly with this kind of data in city planning. We're very happy to share the lessons that we learned. And yeah, that's also a little bit why I chose the following question. So do you believe that digital twins can actually help citizens develop their own neighborhood? Yeah, that was all. Thank you very much.
Yes, great. And the question of Janne has also appeared in the poll, so you can all. I'm finally seeing the votes at the last poll, but I'm seeing it, so that's great. And if you have any other questions, you can drop them in the Q&A tab again. For now, I see one vote, so we will just give everyone some time to react, Janne, and then.
Yeah, and if the question wasn't clear, also let me know. I can explain a bit more.
Yes. I will also look at the chat. Maybe somebody will say something about it, but not yet. No, so the poll is working good. I see 10 votes until now, and for the first time, not everybody has the same answer until now. Oh, wow, boom. A lot of people have voted now again, so I will also share it with you, Janne. They keep on voting. There are now 26 votes. Most of the people say yes. So what are your thoughts about that, Janne?
Yeah, there's of course a reason why I ask it in such a critical way. That's because this is an innovation project, so obviously it's technology driven. I think it's very important with these kind of applications that you also very much encourage the perspective of the user. So we started with the user journey. And I think personally, the applications that we've seen from a government perspective make very much sense. That's a very logical application. For a citizen application, I still struggle a little bit myself. I think it's very interesting to explore. But yeah, I think it's important to remain critical. So in this case, I'm actually happy that not everyone is directly on board. Because yeah, I think in the end, you always have to keep an end user in mind. And maybe not everyone is super technology driven as we are here, because we are obviously the right target audience. So I saw a question about the viewer. This is actually a viewer that's based on open source components that we developed ourselves. So it's combining open data and 3D data.
Yes, okay, so yeah, that was the first question you responded to. Let's have a look also from Jaap. of course, digital twin is not enough to get hold of one's area. It is part of the solution, right?
Yeah, I think if I understand your question, you're saying that this cannot be the one answer to a participatory project where you involve citizens, and I totally agree. I do think in these weird COVID times, maybe we have a little bit more attention to online tools, whereas before we would often have more like board games and sessions in the neighborhood itself. Maybe we can combine them, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, 2 people have liked Jaap, his question. So with this, we have covered the questions, Janne, and even more people have responded to the poll, but this 32 votes have answered yes, and only 5 votes no. So that's the end of the poll.
Yes, thank you. If not,
yeah.
I'm also very happy to hear in the comments why not. So let me know.
Yes, and in the Ask Me Anything session, there is enough time to discuss that, of course. Then we can really interact with each other. Magdalena, can I give the word to you?
Yes, Xander, thank you very much. Thank you, our presenters, and thank you, audience, for your participation. We hope you enjoy it. I would like to shortly summarize the session. I made some notes, so I hope, you will like the end result. Okay, so let me summarize. We started with Henk Pauw from Factor Geo, where the importance of the correct quality data as an important input for the digital twins was underlined. And we saw an interesting project from Municipality Zaanstad about different approach of the data capturing and processing, and really interesting findouts. And one is hanging in my mind is the availability of high accurate and complete data sets means integral package of information for various products, and also supporting different departments at the same time. So we concentrate on one, collecting data, but more departments can really profit from it. Then we have Tony Babin from Cadastar. Tony, you talk about first results of the powerful combination of the 3D model from Cadastar and tool Green Benefit Planner from National Institute for Public Health and Environment at IVM. You talked about the need for the fundament for the digital twins and the role of the government. And with the question, is a 3D a good base, a fundament for digital twin? 100% answer was yes. So it's really nice to see. Niels van der Graaf from Imagem. You claim that digital twin is more than just a cool 3D visualization. I think all of you agree with that statement. You presented 2 examples of usage of digital twin information in regard to city and event planning. With music erbij, it was fun to hear and to really experience it. You claim that the true value of the digital twins is to put this data to use by creating application with such as scenario creation. Really enjoy it. And Janne, you were the last, but gave us also very nice presentation about the interesting use case where digital twin was developed to encourage citizens, partners to create their future neighborhood. I like this that we put the users on the really face stage next to the technical part. It was really really nice developed and presented. You talk about the smart districts, and that was a really beautiful example where residents play an important role in designing their own living environment. So yeah, again, thank you very much. I hope all of you enjoy it and you got also inspired. And during the Ask Me Anything session, there will be more possibility to ask questions, to discuss about some subjects, and it will be also more informal part of the session. So my colleague will share a link to Ask Me Anything session. I see
Yes, the link has been shared, Magdalena.
Okay. Yes, very good. Thank you, Xander, because maybe it's also important to notice that we are sitting in the backstage, so we do not see everything what you can see. So that's why we copy paste things, and sometimes it looks a little bit messy, but that is how it is. But okay, great for confirmation that the link is shared. So hope to see all of you after 10 minutes. I think it's also nice time to make a short break and see each other after 10 minutes. So thank you very much again, and see you soon.
Okay, see you all at the Ask Me Anything session.